Good evening, happy Thursday evening to you. Tonight we're talking education and creativity. Sometimes things that are synonymous, actually. Stay with us tonight. Feedback starts now. As I said, good evening. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Feedback. We neglected to mention last week, but you'll be seeing us all this fall on Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. So we won't be on Tuesday nights with the sports show being there. So we've been moved back to here on Thursday nights. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying your autumn leaf week, getting ready for the Farmers and Crafters Day tomorrow and the big parade on Saturday. You can watch the parade, of course, live here on TV5 at noon. Free plug. But anyway, tonight on the show, you may have seen a story I did a few weeks ago on the news. The new state system of education, higher education chancellor made Clarion her first stop a few weeks ago on a tour of all the state system schools. I had a chance to sit down and interview her and talk about, what she thinks of the system, why she came to Clarion first, and some of her goals for the system. Here is a look at that complete interview.
With new State System Chancellor, Dr. Judy Hample. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Clarion and Pennsylvania. Why Clarion is your first stop on this tour? Is there any specific reason we're the best, or why Clarion first?
Well, I have joked all day as I've been visiting with students, faculty, staff, and administrators that I told my staff to arrange my first campus visit to the best university, and here I am. So what can I tell you? Seriously, I think a lot of it's just a scheduling issue, and we were trying to, I'm visiting all 14 universities this fall, and really honored to be both the chancellor and to be able to visit your campus. It's really beautiful, and I've had a great opportunity today to interact with a lot of the people who have helped to make the university a great institution, and so it's great to be here.
So you came from the Florida State Schools, so similar to what Pennsylvania is. Why come here? Why accept a position at the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education?
Well, I think that the state system of higher education in Pennsylvania has a great story to tell that hasn't been told very either very well or very convincingly. I'm not sure which. And I think part of that problem begins with even the name of the system. State system of higher education signals to people, particularly those coming from out of state, that includes all public institutions, including community colleges, for example, which of course it does not. So I think that part of it is, while people may know about many of our institutions individually by name and know people who work at some of those institutions, there's not a system of a system kind of perspective. I think one of the real challenges and one of the things that I'm interested in doing is helping to tell the story about the accomplishments of the state system of higher education and the many fine universities that I think have established over the years excellence in undergraduate education. I have began my career at land-grant and major research universities. I have worked in institutions that have a heavy emphasis on undergraduate education. I have experience at a system that ran the gamut from comprehensive universities with a heavy emphasis on undergraduate education to major research universities. And from my personal interest and what I'm really all about, I have a passionate commitment to high-quality education, particularly at the undergraduate level, and I think that our system does a very good job, and I think we can do it even better, and I see the challenge of trying to work with the universities to make them even better than they are, and to tell that story effectively and persuasively to the people in Pennsylvania and the nation.
One observation that has been made a good bit about education today is that it seemed some years ago only a high school education was required. You could survive in society with that. Now it seems you need some type of undergraduate degree, and some would even say it might be even leaning that you need a graduate degree. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you help mold a system in this changing world in something like that?
One of the things that I think is so great about the state system of higher education in Pennsylvania is that it serves the very need that you have just identified. It is the point of public access to higher education. It's an educational system that is very high quality, but it is affordable for students to attend our universities, to get a high quality education. And I think that it is absolutely the case that it is a national trend, and I think a very good one, that more and more emphasis is being placed on higher education, and that more and more men and women are of all ages, not just the traditional college age, but more men and women of all ages are getting a baccalaureate degree. And that's good news for our society and for our country. I think the good news for our system in this state is that we are the best quality, most affordable undergraduate educational experience in the state, without question. And can we be better? Yes. Are we going to continually work to be better? Absolutely. But we have a great thing going, and I think we just have to have people understand that. We are the public university system.
Well, and that's the point I want to bring up. You talk a lot about we are the public university system, and we need them to be aware. Some of the things you said, you want Pennsylvanians to understand the job that we're doing at these schools. Right. How is that going to happen? You talked about working outside with corporations and people in the state. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, I think it's a multi-tiered approach to how we do it. I think, first of all, we have to build a common understanding within the university system itself about what it is we do, that we do really well, and what story we want to tell. That is to say, the story being, it's a truthful story, but what image we want to project. Then we work aggressively to project that image. I think a lot of that story has to show the extent to which our universities are contributing to the economic growth and development of the regions of the state. All of our institutions are regional institutions, and that has a very special meaning in higher education. It has a very special meaning for Pennsylvanians, though they may or may not understand that. And that is that the universities not only serve the students in that region, but they give back and contribute to the economic growth and development of that region of the state. And so collectively, our institutions, because we're spread all over the state, are making a vital contribution by preparing men and women to go out into the workforce, into fields and from teacher education to health professions in areas of science and technology, and on the list goes, and give back to those communities. But at the same time, we are accessible to what I would call the average student. We have some really outstanding students in our system, students who could go anywhere, to the best privates or the best public institutions anywhere in America, and they choose to come to us. But we also, and very importantly, are the point of access to the system for students who are very good high school students but are not necessarily at the top of their class. And I think what we do is provide a value-added educational experience. We take students where they are, and we move students to the next level, and that's really what education is all about anyway.
You've been on the job 5 weeks, and in reading some of the things since you've been on the job and in just listening to you today, I have heard you say several times taking what we have to an even higher level. What's that level? Any specific plans from what you've seen in your 5 weeks? How do we get to that higher level?
Okay, I think that we get to that higher level by being vigilant about improving the quality of everything we do that we think is important. And it begins by identifying what is important. What is important to me is that we provide the highest level academic experience for students who come to study with us. And that may very well mean that not all 14 institutions offer degrees in every possible field. It may mean that institutions are selective in the program areas that they emphasize, not that they exclude wholesale disciplines in terms of teaching courses in those disciplines, but in terms of what a student can go and emphasize and have as a major, so that you're guaranteeing that you're getting the best quality educational experience in that area. It means educational quality in the sense of having academic programs that are individually accredited, which is a national benchmark of quality for the programs. It means making sure that students that we take in, that we are working hard to retain those students, that we're improving graduation rates, and that, very importantly, at the end of that process, we are awarding degrees. These are the kinds of benchmarks that I believe that legislators, and I don't know the legislators in Pennsylvania yet, I'm starting to meet them and I look forward to working with them, but in having worked with legislators in other states, I mean, that's the kind of bottom line thing they're looking at, is are you offering a quality, are you producing a quality product, and are you producing a product? And that's what we've got. You know, we don't like to think about students and the learning environment as being equivalent to products and equated to that kind of corporate model. But the truth is we live in an environment where that's how we're judged, whether we want to be or not. So I think that we have to be flexible in how we look at what we do. We're focused on the experience and the outcome, recognizing that most of the people who fund us are heavily focused on the outcome. But it's how we get there that's equally important.
All right, well, once again, Judy Hample, thank you for joining us. Welcome to Pennsylvania, welcome to Clarion. I'm sure you're going to see this woman out telling the story of the state system. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that was State System of Higher Education, Dr. Judy Hample. A lot of fun, a very nice person. Will be leading the state system, of which Clarion University is a member of the 14 schools. So I was glad I had the opportunity to sit down with her. I hope that enlightened you as well. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to re-air a segment that we had done, I think it was in April. I'll tell you about it when we come back, so we'll take a break and be back after this.
On Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Phone 226-5555.
Wardrobe for some TV5 news anchors provided by Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all, with many different styles. Fashion Bug also offers a wide selection of accessories. Fashion Bug is located in the Clarion Mall, just off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 5.
Made possible through a grant from Clarion Hospital. Clarion Hospital is located off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Clarion Hospital offers outpatient services, transitional care, as well as an emergency room open around the clock every day of the year. More than 400 employees and 80 physicians work to serve the community. Call the Clarion Hospital at 226-9500. Clarion Hospital, providing health care to Clarion County and surrounding communities since 1954. Do you want complete coverage of local, state, national, and international news as it happens? Then tune into Clarion's very own TV5 News Live for complete coverage of the Clarion area and our world. TV5 News crews join with crews from the world's news leaders, CNN, to provide complete coverage of the day's events. With advanced satellite capabilities, TV5 News can bring you the latest news as it happens. So tune in every Tuesday and Wednesday night for Clarion's very own TV5 News Live.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'm Mark Despatagas, and as I said in this segment, we're going to re-air something that an interview that we did back in April. It's with Jeff Tobe. You may remember it was a very fun show. He's a creativity expert, and it's kind of interesting that we're re-airing this tonight because last night we had Tim Picciarello on, the magician, comedian, motivational speaker. We found out about Tim through Jeff. Jeff, as you'll see, is also a speaker, and he talks about how to be creative, how to be more creative if you already are. And this is a look at about half of my interview with him from April. Take a look. Welcome back to Feedback. So as I was saying before, are you a creative person? Do you want to maybe be a little bit more creative? Well, today's guest tells me that it is indeed possible. Jeff Tobe, who has also been dubbed the guru of creativity and innovation, joins us.
That was actually by my mother. So.
Oh, your mother? Well,
yeah.
So was that not true there?
No, it is true. I'm just kidding.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
So you claim you can make me more creative.
Oh, absolutely.
How the heck can you do that?
Absolutely. You know what? It's funny, Mark, because most people say that they're not creative.
I don't think I
you
am.
told me that before the show.
Yeah.
And you got to start with the basis that everyone is creative. I mean, when were we most creative? When we were kids, right?
Oh, true.
Right. So it didn't just fall off. I mean, it's there inside every one of us. And really what I talk about is how do you access that natural creativity? You know, and everyone has it. I think we've just been trained not to use it. So that's really where I come from with the creativity aspect.
How can I find it then?
Well, you know,
Lost.
well, it's not lost. I think you have to force yourself to do things differently, sort of look at things differently than you have before. I call it like getting outside your comfort zone, yes. You know, I often talk to audiences, large audiences, and I'll challenge them to get outside their comfort zone, look at things differently, and I talk about habits. You know, what do you do in your life that's strictly a habit? You do it just because that's the way it's always been done before. As a matter of fact, appease me for a second. I'll prove this to you, but you're wearing a watch.
I'm wearing a watch.
Right, take it off.
Take it off. Taking my
Now,
watch
take off your watch. I'm going to challenge your audience to do this.
All right, everybody home, take your
take their
watches
watches off, and now put it on the other arm.
Okay.
Now,
Simple.
this is actually if you've never done this before, you may
you
need
can
a
tell.
buddy to do this.
I do.
We'll spend the rest of the show waiting for you to put yours on.
I still can't do it. I thought the table, I can't.
We'll get you help at the break. We'll get you help at the break. The point is, it's awkward. I mean, and it's unbelievably awkward. And not only that, but it gained about a pound from one arm to the other.
Well, I can't even find that out.
But I guess the whole point is, have you ever heard of the 21-day rule?
No.
You know what that means? Basically, I'm glad you haven't heard because it comes from AA, so it's good to know if you don't know. But basically, 21 days to make, break, or change a habit.
Okay.
And so the key is that if we do anything, even changing our watch, as uncomfortable as it feels, if you do it for 21 days, it'll start to feel comfortable.
Well, I can't even get it on there for.
So you got to get it on first, I guess. But so being creative really means doing things differently and practicing it for 21 days. Things that you normally wouldn't do, even driving home differently than you have before, taking a different route when you walk through campus, whatever it is. Just challenging yourself to try something differently.
Wow.
So.
Crayons are your metaphor for doing this. Why crayons?
Well, you know, it all comes from coloring outside the lines, really. And coloring outside the lines actually comes from my father, who gave me a poem when I was 10 years old. Not a very poetic kind of guy, but he found it. It was anonymously written. I was walking home one day, and I had the worst report card I'd ever received. I mean, I wasn't a bad student. I got A's and B's, but what I dreaded on the bottom of our report cards, you know, what was the one word we all had? That we all hated. Remember?
Well, there's a lot. But
Yeah, well, mostly it was comments. You know, conduct.
Conduct,
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, I got good grades, but what I hated was, you know, Jeffrey has seen the hallway more than our janitors, you know. Jeffrey is on a first-name basis with the principal. I don't know. Jeffrey won't stand in line when told to. Well, those kinds of things. And I was walking home when I was 10 years old, and I had the terrible report card. Not only did I have bad comments, but I had one F for failure. I was scared to go home. And I walked home, and my dad basically didn't say a thing. He handed me a copy of a poem, and he said, "Here, read this." Now, like I say, he's not a very poetic kind of guy. He found it. It's anonymously written. But the first line is, "Coloring outside the lines is scary business." And it just became the metaphor for everything I do. It wasn't originally the name of my company or my book or anything, but I was walking through Chicago O'Hare one day, and a guy stopped me. He said, I know you. You're the coloring outside the lines guy, the crayons guy. And as soon as he said that, I said, you know what, this works. And so we started to use it, and that's really a brand. Everything we send out from our office, as you know, is sent in crayon or in colorful markers.
I got this note from you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's all in different colors.
Multiple colors, and it just gives us a little bit of leeway. That's all. We have a lot of fun. I don't know if you notice on my card that I'm not president. I don't own the company. I'm actually the primary colorer. And I have an assistant colorer, director of coloring. We have fun.
Yeah, this is from Patty, your assistant colorer.
Exactly. Exactly.
So are you challenge them all the time to switch watches?
All the time. I drive them crazy, and they just said they'd like to put me back in the line sometimes.
Well, give me some practical tips that I can do every day. You know, what can I do to make my day more outside the lines, I guess?
You know what I say? I say look for the second right answer. And it doesn't matter how old you are, what you do for a living, or what you do in life. I think that, I talk to a lot of seniors, for example, senior citizens, and I find that they're always saying, well, I'm too old to try new things. And really all it is it's a questioning process. I'll give you a quick example. Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I walk into the bathroom stalls, and I see the neatest gadget I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
I hope I can go there. Is this family television?
No, go ahead.
All right, good, good. But it's an automatic seat cover. I mean, you press a button, and automatically this plastic seat cover comes out around the seat. Now, most people will look at that and just accept it for what it was, but I got to question the norm. So I open up the gadget, I look inside, and I realize you can rewind it manually. In other words, once it comes out, you can send it back. So it's not very sanitary, but now I've got an idea. So I reach into my briefcase, and I pull out a marker, and I wrote on it. I put help. I'm stuck inside, and I can't get out and rewind it. I figure the next guy's got to come along, press that button, and just go crazy. But anyway, but that, as crazy as it sounds, I've trained myself to look at things differently. I call it an ASK. ASK, Alternative Solution Kit. It means when you think you got the right answer, you got to sort of do one of these and say, there's got to be a second right answer. There's got to be another way to look at things. All creativity is, and you asked me for some practical tips, I would say is all that people have to do is think about perspective. If you can allow yourself to take the perspective of the other person, of looking at things differently than you have before, it changes the way you look at everything, from problem solving to the way you work to everything you do in life. There's a great saying, you see the world through your, this is more sales end of things, but see the world through your customer's eyes, and you see the way your customer buys. Well, I say when we're dealing one-on-one with anybody, they're your customers. So how do we see things through their eyes? And my kids try to do this with me all the time. This doesn't work.
I think every kid has tried to do that. I've tried to do that.
So
too.
It's looking for that second right answer. It's questioning the norm all the time. And it really is making yourself get outside that comfort zone, just trying some crazy things sometimes, but there's a warning, by the way, that comes with coloring outside the lines. It's okay to color outside the lines as long as you don't fall off the page.
There you go.
Right, so you got to figure out where is the edge of the page for you personally. How far can you go before you've colored too far? But, I would venture most people are not at the edge of the page yet.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, because we mostly stay inside the lines.
Absolutely.
We're so busy anymore, it seems, or at least we claim to be. As someone's at home saying, I'm not going to do this, because then I have to stop and think about another way to do this, respond to that person at home.
Oh, I get it all the time. I don't have enough time to be creative. I don't have time. We don't have time not to be creative. I think one of the things that we kind of skipped over is why be more creative? If there isn't a reason. And I think number one reason above all else is to have more fun. Would you agree with me? People want to do business with, they want to work with, they want to be friends with people who seem to enjoy what they do for a living. So it makes sense to me that people need to have more fun. So number one reason is to have more fun. I also think that no matter what people are doing in life right now, things are changing so rapidly. Business is changing and education is changing that we really have to look at things different. We have to color outside the lines. I'll give everybody a challenge. Next time they get into your cars, I want them to try something, just for viewers. I want them to drive home from wherever they are, only looking in their rearview mirror. No, I'm only kidding. You couldn't do it, right?
No.
But yeah, don't do that at home. Don't try that.
Try the watch.
Right,
That's
exactly.
it.
But why I say that is because I find that so many people are still getting into their proverbial cars every day. Whatever it is they do, what do? We approach what we're doing only looking in our rearview mirrors, to see how it's always been done before. Great saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. By the way, a great book on the market. Robert Krieger, a friend of mine, wrote a book. Actually, I haven't read the book, I have to admit, but I love the title. If it ain't broke, break it.
Break it.
Right?
There you go.
And I think that should be our motto in life. We have to break some rules. And so the goal is stop looking in your rearview mirror, start looking through your windshield to see what's coming down the road ahead of you, instead of relying on the way it's always been done before. So another key reason, I think, is exactly that. Just we have to stop doing things the way they've always been done, because things are changing, so rapidly.
Right.
I think one more reason, a third reason, would be to add value to what you do. Nowadays it's just not good enough to be normal. And I say that tongue-in-cheek, but I mean, especially in business, it's so competitive right now. Things out there, as students are going out and they're competing in the marketplace for the same positions, you have to be more creative. People are looking for that differentiation in the marketplace.
Yeah, well, you use the car metaphor. You'd think the way I drive, I'm probably the most creative person in the world. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about being creative, how to get you're tired of your life, it's boring. How can you... All right, so that was the interview with, actually it was about half the interview with Jeff. It turned out to be a really fun show. It may be re-aired at some time. We may even try to get him back up here. He does the book Coloring Outside the Lines. There's videos as well
Definitely a very interesting guest. And also, so was Dr. Judy Hample earlier in the show. So we want to say thank you for joining us tonight. It was a good week here. I hope you're going out now to enjoy some of the autumn leaf festivities. As we said, Farmers and Crafters Day is tomorrow. The parade is Saturday. If you're not going down, maybe you want to stay at home and watch it. Go ahead, watch it right here on TV5 at noon. Coming up next, TV5 News Live. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for that. We will see you back here next Wednesday at 7:30. Have a good weekend.